Live from Manchester Morgue mostly contains spoilers. Mostly.
This is not a dream. We are using your preferred podcast provider as a receiver.
Welcome to Live from Manchester Morgue, the horror film show where we dig up two of our favourites and talk a bit about why we think they would make for a great double bill. I'm Gary. Joining me, just having got back from committing some ritual murders, is Ken. Hello, Ken.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
I started my very own folk movie, which is basically every film ever made now.
Yeah. If you like what you hear, please share us around. Leave us a rating if you can. A comment. We're on Instagram at Manchester Morgue Pod. Share the love. Thank you so much. Coming up this episode, we've got Bill Paxton's Frailty and Andy Mitton's The Witch in the Window, and we've got an exclusive. Is it exclusive? What defines an exclusive? Does it mean only we do it?
No, it means we got there first.
All right, well, probably didn't then, because it's like from 2018.
I mean, if no one's asked him to talk about Witch in the Window recently, then technically, yes, it's exclusive.
I suppose so. I mean, I don't know how many recent interviews he's done about that film specifically. We should have asked him. He's gone now. We can't ask him.
No.
Well,
it's a strange question to ask, and we had some good questions, so I didn't want to kind of sully that.
Wasted opportunity. No, of course you wouldn't ask him, would you? You wouldn't actually ask him that.
Okay, yeah.
All right. We've got some feedback that I've not told you about. That's nice.
Is it good? Is it bad? Is that why you're not told me?
No, it's nice. Just finished the Shark Week episode, and you two have brought back a great memory of watching Jaws 3D with my dad and my sister and howling with laughter at the dodgy 3D effects, rewinding it over and over with the volume down so we could dub our own silly dialogue over it. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's not bad. That was from Jazz. Thank you.
Maybe chuckle.
Yeah. Jazz is a woman, and speaking of women, that's such what a link. Did you see how I did that? International Women's Day is on this Sunday.
It
is. So I wanted to ask who if we could have one woman as a guest in the world on the show, who would it be? You can have a couple of guesses though. You don't have to just choose one.
Can it be realistic, or can it be like pie in the sky?
Well, I said anyone in the world. So, I'd say maybe not dead ones. Let's stick to living women.
Barbara Crampton.
Crampton, she's on my list. I've got three though. Sigourney Weaver, which is.
I was going to say Sigourney Weaver. That's why I said, are we talking like stuff that's never going to happen?
Hey, you don't know. You don't know that Sigourney Weaver's not going to come on our show. You just don't. But Sigourney Weaver and Barbara Crampton. I'd also like to talk to the Soska sisters.
Yeah, that would be absolutely great.
Yeah, it really would. So we basically that was going to be a little feature there, but we've just decided on the same ones.
Yeah.
Oh well, great minds and all that.
Yeah.
News. I've got some news. So the first picture has come out from Wolf Creek Legacy, the new Wolf Creek movie.
Oh, has it?
Yes.
How do I not know?
I mean, it's just Mick Taylor. It's Mick Taylor leaning against that Jeep thing that he's got with all the lights on it with his rifle.
Is it a movie?
I think so.
Is it Greg McLean again?
I don't know. I think so.
It is Greg McLean again. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. John Jarrett's back, and so that's forthcoming at some point.
I love Wolf Creek. I love all Wolf Creek things, the films, the TV
do.
series.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really horrible. But yeah, I like them. Yeah. Shit news, Bruce Campbell's not well.
Absolutely awful, worst possible. Even in a time of global strife and war.
Yeah, I mean, every day is a shit news day at the moment, but that's particularly shit news. He's posted this himself.
Yeah.
He has... Sorry, go on.
One of my favourite humans on the planet. I wrote to him once when I was a little boy.
Did you?
Yeah, I was one of them. I think Fangoria or something like.
I think you might have told me this story before because we did talk about Evil Dead Elsewhere, didn't we? Once upon a time.
Yeah, it was one of the magazines in the 90s, and like it had listings to get autographs from people and like write to people. And one of them was Bruce Campbell. And I wrote to him and I got like a signed picture back and like a printed letter that I now don't have. And it makes me
Yeah,
sad.
you did tell me. Oh, yeah. Well, that is a shame. Yeah. So he's got. I don't think he's specified what it is exactly, but he's got some type of cancer which can be treated but not cured. So, wishing Bruce Campbell all the best. I guess.
Yeah.
Hope it's as easy as it can be for as long as possible.
Mm.
Um, Speaking of Bruce Campbell, however, they're remaking Maniac Cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Nicholas
Well,
Winding. How do you say it? Refn?
really?
Yeah, I don't know how you say his surname, but yeah, he's doing it.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That is certainly a choice. It's probably going to be 4 hours long with like the longest dialogue scenes you've ever experienced in a horror
indeed.
movie. Well, that's a that's an interesting the thing that brought me to that was how are they going to do the Maniac Cop himself? Because Robert Zadar, Robert Zadar.
Bizarre, yeah. Big chin lad.
I mean, he had like a I mean, he had a massive face. Like he had a
Well,
face.
yeah,
He
but I
looked
mean,
like
it's
he looked like something out of Dick Tracy, basically. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that was his trademark,
no.
and
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I've just never associated it with Dick Tracy before. You're absolutely right.
yeah.
It was
So
like a
it's
Dick Tracy film.
so they're going to choose someone with an equally kind of distinctive face, or are they going to use
I
makeup or
guess. I
something?
mean, who? I don't know anyone with that big of a face.
I suppose they could just the Maniac Cop of the title can just be a police officer that's a bit of a mad bastard.
Well, I mean, it might be topical. It might be like a bit of a Candyman reboot kind of thing, mightn't it? Like a
Mm.
who knows? Maybe he'll be an ICE agent,
Oh God.
maniac ICE. Wow. Um, so also coming up is a sequel to Ready or Not. Ready or Not 2 is in the making.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. Starring
Um, Sorry, go on.
Sarah Michelle Gellar and
Yeah,
Sean Hatossi from The Faculty as well.
yeah.
Uh,
And I got back on my Reddit AMAs and I got a comment to Matt Benitelli, Olfin, and Tyler Gillette, who directed Ready or Not.
Radio
And
Sounds guys,
Scream,
right?
eh?
Radio Sounds is what they're called, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they did Scream, Scream 6, Ready or Not, and Abigail.
Abigail, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Great,
asked
great
him a question.
filmmakers.
I asked him a question and I got through. I'll read it to you. Um, I asked them, I said, so Abigail's dad is Dracula, right? Because I think it's alluded to in the film, but they never actually explicitly call him Dracula at any point.
Yeah.
And I said, any news on Abigail too? And Tyler said, fun fact, I'm not sure if this is actually canon in Matt's head, but we had a thought discussion that Abigail's dad actually killed Dracula and sort of took on the moniker after killing this all-powerful monster.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then Matt's response to that was with asterisks at either side of it, wink, wink. So, I mean, I don't know if that's because maybe they didn't say he was Dracula because he's not supposed to be for legal reasons
Yeah.
or similar. Or the wink wink might be about Abigail too. I don't even know if it's proposed to be an Abigail too. I just asked the question.
I rewatched that recently. It's very good. I hope there's a
It's
sequel.
come on Netflix, hasn't it? Or it's
Yeah.
about to. Yeah. Yeah, Abigail's great. If you like vampires and fun, listeners, you should definitely watch Abigail.
Also, if you like Melissa Barrera, who's an absolutely fantastic actor that almost got cancelled by studios.
She did. Well, I think it's come
Uh,
out that General Ortega left Scream 7 because of this, didn't she? Apparently. That came
yeah,
out
I've
recently.
Scream 7 is notably not in my recently watched because
Oh,
I just couldn't bring the reaction to it. I think apart from the original Scream in '96, I've seen every Scream at the cinema, and this might be the only one that I haven't.
wow. I don't think I've seen any Beyond 3, to be fair, but yeah, that's very stand up of you. Um, can we do what have you watched then?
Oh, we can because I've
Because
got loads.
not that, not Scream 7.
Not Scream 7, yeah. I've got
Go
loads.
on.
I can rattle through if you want.
Well, I've got one. You rattle through yours, and I'll do mine at the end.
I'll go in quality order, which I sometimes like to do. So I watched Tarot, which was the film about where Tarot uh
Oh, did that come out
come.
like end of last year?
It's 2024, so
Oh yeah, the year before. Christ. Right. Yeah, I
yeah.
thought it wasn't. It's not super recent, as what I was trying to say.
So yeah, I watched that. It was a bag of shit. It was very it. I was tempted by it's got a bit like 13 Ghosts vibe in that like the tarot cards uh represent like a monster that comes after you and kills you,
Yeah,
but they
that
don't
sounds
even really
great.
use that. They don't even really
Oh,
use that. You barely see. It's like very short scenes of, oh, there's a tarot monster that comes and gets you, and the script is terrible, and
oh dear.
yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I watched The Vicious or Vicious, which is the latest film from Brian Bertino, who did The
Hmm.
Strangers
Oh yeah.
and Dark and Wicked. Great horror filmmaker, like dark, slow burn stuff. The Vicious, it's no Vicious, not The Vicious, Vicious. It's
Not
not great,
viscous like
not
like a
viscous,
liquid.
not like no. It's not great. It's got this weird concept. It's Dakota Fanning who is really good, and she gets a box from someone, and you got to put things in the box, and the box is like a Freddy Krueger type that can like talk to you and like imitate your loved ones, and you got put something you need in, put something you love in, put something you care about, something like that.
Mhm.
And then slowly throughout the night, it's all set in one apartment one night. She just goes more and more mad and more beat up, and she's like cutting fingers off and putting them in the box and all this stuff. And it doesn't really kind of go anywhere, or it doesn't really say anything. It says a bit about her character and like where she is in her life, but it's all like it's the concept and nothing else. But
Mm,
yeah, and
that's a
then
shame.
adjacent, what's The Carpenter's Son, which is was advertised as the horror film about Jesus with Nicolas Cage in it.
I think I saw something about that. Yeah, I've not watched the
Yeah,
film.
that was all
How was
right.
that? Yeah.
It was all right. It's quite. It was very just bleak and cold. It was a very Cage is kind of dialed down to like Cage Cage level 2. Um, he has a couple of Cage level 11 moments very
I was gonna say,
briefly.
is there actually a top end of Cage level, or does it is it infinite? Could he just keep
I
going
think it's
full?
infinite. I
He
think it's
he can
infinite.
never become full Cage because it's a like a never reaching summit.
Mandy's close. The bit in Mandy where he goes
Mm,
mental in the
yeah, right.
bathroom, that's like 12, level 12
Level
Cage.
12 Cage.
Yeah, so that was all right. And then the best film I watched was Cold Storage,
Oh,
which is a little viral splatter horror with Liam Neeson and the guy who plays Steve in Stranger Things. Um,
all right. Yep.
and it was notably written by David Koepp, who, among many other things, wrote Jurassic Park. It's based on his, well, not the book Jurassic Park. He did the script for
No.
Jurassic Park, and he's done the script for like several Spielberg and George Lucas films, and it's based on his book. And it's just very small scale, very fun, splattery, goopy, funny.
All right.
Dead,
Sounds right up my alley. That
yeah, really worth a watch. Very good. Good creature effects.
nice.
Yeah, that's me. That's me for the
Is it?
week.
Did I tell you I watched Dashcam? Did I talk about this last time? I can't remember
Oh, yeah. Did
because
you not
I
watch
kept
that before
meaning.
we interviewed Jed?
No, it was the first time watch about a couple of weeks ago, I think. So maybe I didn't speak to you about it. Yeah, that was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I absolutely love Dashcam.
yeah, yeah, I hadn't watched it at the time we talked to Jed, but yeah, it was decent. Yeah. What I have watched is a really old one. I only watched it today called Burial Ground. Have you seen it?
No, but you put wait, you posted it on the old the
I
Instagrams,
did. I
and
did gramify it. Um,
your review sounded very tempting.
I can't remember what I said exactly now. However, so it's from 1981. So it's very much in the spirit of the zombie films from around that time, such as um, Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah.
In fact, it's called Burial Ground, but it's also called The Nights of Terror, The Zombie Dead, and Zombie 3. So there are several films called Zombie 3 that were all named such to try and cash in on Zombie 2, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters,
Which
which is
we
actually also known as Zombie 1.
yeah, yeah. If a film has like five different names in different territories, depending on the advertising, you know it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, it's Zombie 3 to Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2, which is also just zombie because they called it Zombie 2 to be a sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Is that right? Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yes,
it's
but just
very
basically
confusing.
lying to people.
Yeah, just lies, nothing to do with George Romero whatsoever.
No,
But it's very, very. I mean, there are certain scenes that actually ape zombie flesh eaters. There's a slow right. I mean, the zombies themselves, right? They look like Fulci zombies. They're sort of skeletal, but they've got gory bits, and there's like an eyeball hanging out of one,
goopy bits.
goopy bits, and they're like worms and shit. Real ones.
Yeah,
Like there's a bit there's that one bit in Zombie Flesh Eaters where the zombie rises really slowly from the grave, and it's got worms in its eye dangling out of its eyeball.
yeah,
But that's exact scene basically is in this. A zombie rises like that out of the dirt, but instead of worms, it's got maggots all over its face.
grim.
So if you like that sort of, oh yeah, there's another bit where there's a woman's face is slowly pulled towards broken glass, broken window,
Much
like
like
the eyeball
the
scene
yeah,
with the splintered wood. It's exactly that, but it's not wood, and it gets in the face, not the eyeball. It's like, you're definitely, influenced very heavily by that film that came out the year before or 2 years before. It's got
yeah.
terrible dubbing. Um, I mean, there's no such thing as good dubbing, is there? Us, particularly, I think, no matter how well dubbed something is, you can tell when the words that you're listening to are not the same as the ones coming out of the face that you're watching on the screen.
This
It's
is
always
true.
obvious. But I mean, it kind of adds to it with these old daft, like the 1980-esque horror films.
Yeah,
But yeah, the best bit is that there's a mother and son character in it. And the mother, I think the actress was about 41, 42, and her son is played by a 25-year-old.
yeah.
He's supposed to be a child. And that takes I'm not going to spoil that for anyone because that arc takes some fucking turns. So,
Oh,
yeah, you should say,
I
oh,
think I
like
know. I
that.
think I know where you're going.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised, but maybe not that surprised.
No,
But yeah, I mean, if you want to watch a mad as fuck 1981 with a zombie horror with really cool zombies, it's essentially like all the other zombie films from around that time. Not very good essentially, but fun. I'd recommend Burial Ground. So there you go.
good.
On to tonight's films.
Yeah, speaking of
So
weird. Well, one of them's weird. I was going to say weird familial relationships.
yeah, I suppose certainly a theme. I don't want to dwell too much on the thematic link between these two because we kind of established that in the interview
We did.
with Andy Mitton. So we'll
It's
leave
work
that for now.
gloves. It's work gloves.
It's DIY and work gloves. But yeah, so The Witch in the Window. We'll talk about that one first. Andy Mitton, 2018, starring Alex Draper, Charlie Tapper, fucking hell, Charlie Tacker,
Yeah.
Carol Stanzione. Um, we had some comments about this. Dave, the expat, he says,
Oh, Dave.
Dave's back. Love The Witch in the Window. Freaky, slow, cheeky Euro movie. I don't know what he means by
Cheeky
Euro
Euro
movie. Well, it is
movie.
freaky and
Oh.
it's slow. I don't know what he means by cheeky Euro. I mean, it's set in Vermont. Explain that to us, Dave. What do you mean by Euro movie? Anyway, so Andy Mitton, he did tell us in the interview that he creates music, and I didn't click the first time I watched this many years ago, but on the rewatch, I noticed that he did he scored the film as well.
Yeah, he's done the whole John Carpenter thing. He
Yeah,
composed for a few of his films. Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe all of them. I'm not sure.
So a cracking film. I mean, he also mentioned to us in the interview that he's a big horror fan above many things. So not sure. We didn't ask him directly about his influences as such, but I mean, Ghostwatch might well have been in there, with pipes and the things lurking in the background because the central
Yeah,
haunting of this film is the character of Lydia, and there are many kind of Hill House and Ghostwatch style moments where she's sort of loitering in the background where the characters can't see her, but the viewer can,
Yeah.
which adds to the tension quite well, quite a bit. I got a list of all the sightings of Lydia, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. You need to go and watch that first, and then come and listen to the show because you will get it spoiled.
Or
Or,
do what you want.
I mean, I'm not your dad. You can do what you want technically, but if you want my opinion and my 2 cents, I think you should watch the film first and then come back and listen to the show because it's a very good film. Um, do you want to talk a bit about the film first, or should we just dive straight into the interview with Andy? Do you think, and then talk
Let's
about that from there?
yeah, let's see what Andy has to say.
We'd like to extend a very warm welcome to director of one of the films we're covering in this episode, none other than Andy Mitton. Andy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We're going to talk mainly about The Witch in the Window. I'd like to caveat that with I literally just for the first time watched Yellow Brick Road last week, which I really enjoyed too. Am I right in thinking that The Witch in the Window is the first one that you directed solo? The others were
Yeah,
co-directed.
it was a whole sort of restart for me, Witch in the Window. So yeah, those first two I directed with Jesse Holland, who remains a close friend. But I
Oh,
moved from LA at that point, and yeah, I was at a complete loss and looking to get my feet back under me somehow, and The Witch in the Window became the way to do that.
sure. Well, what a way to do it in style. Such a great movie.
Yeah,
Um,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Ken, feel free to
Appreciate
lead on,
that.
mate. Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah, well, I have a bit of a surprise for Gaz and Andy. Doing rewatching The Witch in the Window, I was kind of taken with how much I enjoy your films, so I went and watched them all. I kind of pulled a bit of a career retrospective set of questions.
Oh,
So we'll have a bit of a focus on Witch in the Window. I've got a couple of questions around that, but I want to kind of go through your career in kind of as high level as possible. Your films are incredibly interesting. You moved from, am I right in thinking you moved from the theatre into kicking off with kind of, as Gaz mentioned, Yellow Brick Road, which is a kind of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, post Blair Witch kind of witch and supernatural in the woods mystery. What was that transition like going from theatre to feature directing?
well, it was very calculated because my horror fandom predates my theater interest. Like I was a horror kid. I was, the kid like begging his mother to buy him the Stephen King book at like 10 years old. And um, that was always the original seed. And then I got into theater in high school. Um, I went to Middlebury College and got my BA in theater there. So a bunch of us who went to school together moved to LA together and figured we'll do theater for a while to see what happens. But the whole time I was plotting horror movies, it's just kind of gaining some experience and waiting for the right moment and discovering that like doing theater in LA is ill-advised. It just there's no cohesion to the community there. Um, so I was working at the Discovery Network, logging footage and being a post-production coordinator, and I just uh, suddenly it was like we got to go now. We have to do something. So we Yellow Brick Road was Jesse and I used to go hiking in Malibu all the time, and it was just out of hiking and imagining like what would music as Ghost be like? What would it be if we just heard music out here? And we were both into kind of Lovecraftian stuff, and the way that all came together was like we did not we were very surprised, let's put it that way, when that movie actually got into theaters. We were very aware we were making something weird. We wanted it to be weird. um and it got into slam dance and got out there much further than we thought, probably much further than it should have in some degree, because by the time it was in like 30 theaters here, we were like, oh, I'm pretty sure half of the people going to see it at the theater are going to be like, what the fuck is this? And sure enough, they were. And part of the reason Yellow Brick Road was like a good kickoff was it's so polarizing that there's like no 3-star reviews for that movie. It's like death threats and love letters.
Jesus.
But no one's like forgetting it, right? No one's thinking of their grocery list on the way out, and that tends to like work
Yeah.
to create a
It's
little friction going forward.
it is very weird, but weird in the best way, I think. It was
It was an
deeply
adventure.
deeply disturbing in many ways.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
was a
feel
real
like
adventure.
I feel like it's possibly your only film that keeps the audience at a distance. It's very kind of on
Yeah.
purpose. It's quite cold. It doesn't feel like a first feature, which is uh, always nice. But it's yeah, rewatching it I found it quite striking. Um, I want to get us to Witch in the Window, but first I want to kind of hop to We Go On, which is my personal favorite movie of yours. Um, it's kind of one of my favorite films, period, that kind of explores the afterlife, mostly because it's just really sweet. It's kind of really sweet natured in its way.
Yeah.
You've got kind of a ghost story of sorts with a parent and child partnership at its center, which it shares with Witch in the Window. Are you kind of usually drawn to these explorations of family?
Um, I mean, it's funny because for the 4 movies that exist of mine, there are 12 scripts that, you don't know that explore all sorts of things. So it's funny what gets made becomes sort of the mold you're in. But what I was writing all those years was a lot of stuff. I am drawn. I think with We Go On, it was like specific to not usually seeing a grown character in their parent. Um, Jesse and I were both like close with our mothers, and I thought that was like an interesting dynamic. It came out of working on a short that was just the basic concept of like, man, we'll put a reward money in the paper for someone who can offer him proof of the afterlife, and that felt like fertile soil. Um, so it got built out from there, and we were kind of responding to what you said about Yellow Brick Road. What we felt too is that like we wanted the opposite of that distance. We wanted to be hardwired to a hero, emotionally connected, and try and do a film that's a little bit more on the rails. So it had, whereas Yellow Brick Road had no score, we wanted to have a score. We wanted the camera to glide a bit more. We wanted a warmer, omniscient eye, basically, to show that we could do that. And that was much closer to the things I'd been doing in theater anyway. So, Annette O'Toole coming on board, that was the key that made the whole thing fly. And she became like the hero of that. I mean, she remains one of my favorite people.
Yeah, she's great, and as I say, it's an incredibly for a there's not a large collection in horror of supernatural movies that are genuinely sweet, and I find We Go On to just be quite a sweet-natured film. Um, you got the concept in. This is something I was thinking on rewatch. You got the concept in just before, or a few years before the AI boom. So that poor character, if he put the advertisement out now, he'd have to wade through endless slop
Yes, it's
to,
very true. It's very true. I had not thought of that. That
yeah.
would not fly.
Okay, so let's move on to The Witch in the Window, which we're featuring in our episode. The episode, we have kind of sometimes tangential, sometimes obvious links between double bills, and this one, it's quite obviously we're pairing it with Bill Paxton's Frailty,
Oh, I
which
love that
kind of
movie.
yeah, which is kind of it's the relationship between fathers and sons and the trust and where that trust can take you and stuff like that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
And
you have
DIY.
and DIY. There's a lot of work gloves. There's
Yeah.
work gloves are connecting these
That's
films.
true, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there's a great chemistry between Charlie and Alex. Like, was that natural from the start, or did you have to work at it?
Uh, no, it was all very luck, like very, very luck-based stuff. Like they didn't meet until we got to set. That was a very unique process in many ways. I casting the kid was like my biggest worry of the whole thing because I knew it would be Alex before I started writing. And I actually knew the house before I started writing, which is very unusual. Um, and this really great advantage to know the rooms and the spaces and where like the PowerPoints in your location are and be able to craft your story around it, as well as crafting the story to Alex, who working with him on Yellow Brick Road was like, I knew that he could carry a movie on his shoulders, but like kids are tricky, especially 12-year-old kids. Charlie was like one of the first kids I looked at, and he was just, he had only done some like smaller, scrappy things, but it's like you can look at like 100 kid auditions and they all have agents and they're all like very trained and they get on camera and they're very upright and they're poised and they're making their choices. And Charlie would just get on camera and like if his nose itched, he'd scratch it. And if he thought of something else, he'd get distracted. I'm like, this kid is relaxed. Um, and he's just listening. And so I took a bet on that because that's actually unusual with more trained kids. And it worked out. I mean, they're polar opposites, like in terms of how they approach to the movie. Alex is from the theater. He had his notes, all his binders, and was memorized and had his process. And Charlie, I don't think he had read the script. He just sort of showed up. It was like, let's go. And that actually worked. You can't plan for some of that stuff when you only have 2 weeks to shoot and a couple $100,000. Like there's no rehearsal process. You squeeze all that stuff in and you go and you hope to get lucky.
Yeah, and it really works. Talking about Alex Draper, you've worked with him a number of times, and I had a question in bold capital letters in my notes. How is this man not more famous? An incredibly charismatic actor. Do
Yeah.
you two enjoy working together?
Yeah. I mean, I've known him a long time. And the simple answer to that question is he's a tenured professor of theater at Middlebury College. So that's, way up in the woods in Vermont, right where we were shooting. I brought the movie to him because it's hard for him to leave. He's got a lot of responsibilities there. So he's done some things in the past. He was in Sex and the City in one of its runs. He played a supporting character there. So he'd done some things, but mostly he's very focused there. And I thought this is sort of my secret weapon in a way because I
Yeah.
know how good he is. And he's got that warmth. He makes me think of like the young Richard Dreyfuss, like Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws or
I
something. That sort
did
of
get
warmth.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So we were having staying with Witch in the Window. We were having a debate just before you came on the call. What were we talking about, Gaz? Toys and magic eyes.
Well, yeah, I wanted to nerd out a little bit because I was trying to figure out how Finn came to possess the action figures that I saw on the shelves. Were they yours?
No,
Oh,
no. Sam Henson, our art director, and Erica Severson, who was working with him, production designer and art director. I mean, that's hard because you got to come up with a bunch of stuff that's not going to get you in trouble. It's
sure.
like generic enough. And they did a really good job assembling that. But yeah, we couldn't be too picky. So
Sure. It was just
credit
because
to them.
a lot of those, I mean, I'm 46, so like a lot of those toys
Me
I
too.
had on my shelf. There's like Ninja Turtle figures from the 90s. There's a Joker figure from 1989. I was like, they must be Andy's figures.
I wish that I didn't even get to take them with me.
Oh man.
Oh, that's bad. Um, so all of your films, and I think I benefited from watching them all in kind of quick succession. You have I mean, most filmmakers do, but you have a specific style. All of your films kind of meticulously build towards horror, and I mean, Witch in the Window, as most of your films, is a character studies first and Haunted House second. Like, are you always looking to tell more personal, like contemplative tales through the horror lens? Is that
No,
because it would be
it's just what I can afford to make.
okay, right.
Those are the ones. If you don't have a lot, I mean, that's the thing. I tell people coming up, like it's sort of a double-edged sword because when you don't have a lot of resources, you have to do the films where you can stick the landing. And the fact of the matter is that like comedy horror or um, horror that's going to move faster in like that commercial way literally takes more footage, more days to shoot because it moves faster. Um, I think when you have to look at your strengths and realize, okay, um, I've got a bunch of like theater people. I can like hunker down with them. I can take long takes. The movie's going to be a slow burn. I know how to put that together. Uh, so it becomes a balance of what's achievable and yes, the other side of it is, yeah, I come from theater. I'm interested. Like when I did Witch in the Window, my kids were really small, but I was already terrified of them turning this age, like 12. Like, what is the point at which I have to stop lying to my kids? I'm definitely interested in that. And so with that one, I let myself be really abstract and say, like, well, with that feeling that I get inside when I imagine my kid like clicking through YouTube and seeing like a beheading or something, whatever that sickness that I get inside, that's Lydia. That's,
Right.
I didn't try. I did one where I didn't try and say like this is a evil with like a human motivation. It's just the stuff that's in the world that you can't control that's going to fuck up your kid. And at some point you have to tell them about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I first watched the movie, I think my son was 5, and it resonated with me even at that age, knowing that I had this kind of conversation to come. And now he's 11, and
I'm in the same boat.
I
We're the
rewatched the
same
movie the
page
other day.
on the same track, I
We
got to
are, we
tell you.
exactly are, aren't we? We
Yeah.
have a lot in common in that respect. But yeah, he's got a phone now because he walks to school,
Yep.
and it's like, what's he going to see? What are these other kids going to show him? And all the things that his father says to Finn in the movie, like, we just lied to you constantly. We lied to
Yeah.
you constantly, and you're not safe, and we don't know how to make you safe. And it's just such a dad fear, well, a parental fear. And I think that's
That's
why
the
the
heart
movie
of the
resonates.
movie.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the heart.
definitely.
That scene, the woodpile scene, where if you look, you catch her briefly in the window in that scene.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
that's the heart of the movie. It's probably my favorite scene I've directed in anything.
Yeah, it's a magical scene.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, I think another thing I wanted to mention was I read a review of the movie before I watched it, and it was Kim Newman, the critic. Um,
Yeah.
and he said it had one of the most chilling scenes, or along the lines of one of the most chilling scenes committed to cinema. And I was like, well, I need to check this out then. And then I watched it, and I instantly knew he was talking about the phone call.
Yeah.
And oh my god, what a scene, man! I watched this again the other day, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up all over again.
The hairs are
It's
standing on my
such a
back of
well
it
done
now,
scene.
thinking about it. Yeah, we'll speak about that in the episode. It's really great. It's the scare centerpiece of the film, and I think it's a testament to how economical the film is. That is the big thing. Not even kind of when she initially kind of wakes up from the chair, and it's that
Yeah,
it's that
Yep.
control.
it's so well set up because you've already had the fake out once before, and you kind of forget about it because Finn wakes up and he hears his dad, and then his dad's not there. So you kind of trick us into thinking that's not going to happen again, and then you do it again. He's like, oh my god, sucker
Right. I
punched
tried to
again.
plant just as much of a seed that like when it happened, it would have been planted, but like not
Mm.
conscious that it's gonna reveal itself or pull the
It
punch.
worked for me. Great
Good.
job.
Yeah. That's when we were on set, we all knew the number of that scene the day we were shooting it. I think there was a sense that like that's the one we have to get right. And indeed, like in the planning of the movie, that was I mean, some movies start with a vibe, some movies start with a setting or like a plot thread. Um, this started with this moment, working forward and backwards from it because I knew, and I think that's a good way to write a movie actually, because if you can think of a moment that's going to become uh, the defining thing that's more than just a good jump scare that has layers to it and is something you haven't seen before, that's the goal. You work to support that moment.
Yeah, great scene, great film. Can't wait to talk about it with yourself, guys. I want to hop onto your latest film, and then we'll wrap up. Moving on to The Harbinger, which is one of the more interesting. I'll probably say one of the stronger because COVID wasn't a great period for COVID movies. Like I think a lot of them happened because, you know, the filmmakers were still kind of putting out art and it's got to be done, but a lot of them were kind of churned out. But I really like The Harbinger. I wanted to know, was was it a direct result writing that? Was it a direct result of COVID, or was COVID just a catalyst for some of those ideas?
COVID was the glue that like brought some ideas that had been circulating into focus or gave it a mechanism to run on because I've been wanting to work in dreams for sure for a while and do something in the vein of Jacob's Ladder, which is one of my favorite movies.
We recently covered
And
that. Yeah.
oh, really? Okay. Yeah. See, I love the way the dreaminess of that movie is grounded in this really kind of human raw space. That movie is special to me because it's a really cold world that it paints, and Tim Robbins as a hero is so warm. Like you go back at
Yeah.
that character is so such a warm, kind presence in this cold world. And that's what I wanted to feel in The Harbinger, that Gabby's character, Monique, is this buoy in this dark time.
Yeah.
But the movie, yes, was a primal scream. Uh, so I guess that summer in 2020, we were going to be shooting another movie called um, Walk With Me Into the Darkness. And we had things kind of coming together for it. And then, like everything else, our plans went up in smoke. And somewhere at the end of that summer in August, I guess, I started thinking there's got to be something we can do. Um, I got to, there were, my producer was saying we shouldn't make COVID movies. There's going to be a huge backlash against COVID movies. Even at that time, we were aware of that danger. But what I couldn't help thinking is like what you try and do in horror is find a shared well of experience, of grief, of common fear. And common fears are hard to find across oceans and uh, different cultures. And this was something that we all shared, which is very rare. And I could tell we weren't going to process it well. And my hope was it would have such an impact in a shared way globally that like it would be a viable setting headed into the future that we could look, in the same way that any particular wartime or maybe more so because we all understand it. And I did find that when I traveled with the movie that more than any other movie I'd made, it was something that everyone had the same like sort of access door to. So that theory worked. And then the other side of the sword, where the backlash side of it also happened. So I still think it was worthwhile. But yes, we shot it pre-vaccine, um, double masked, testing every morning, the entire cast from New York, because I that was my opportunity. I was like, everyone in the theaters on the in their apartments, and they want to work safe. So we took some of the best theater talent in town. Gabby Beans and Emily Davis are two of the rising stars in the New York theater scene, um, and they were available. And I thought they're so good, it's going to elevate the whole damn thing. And that's what it became. It became this odd little joy in a dark time to make.
Yeah, great film. I think the backlash is unfair. As I said, we did churn out a lot of COVID films, but I think no global event should be without its kind of cultural outlet. And there are good things that come out of that, and I think The Harbinger is definitely one of them. So I think, I guess to finish us off, we always kind of ask, what are you working on next? You mentioned you were working on something before The Harbinger. Is that next?
I don't know if that's going to happen. Um, I have, there's a movie I've been trying to get made for a long time that I think might have a lane now that's very, very different from any of this. That's like a high school voodoo doll story. It's very bloody
Yes,
and
I'm
funny
in.
and
I'm
Sick.
in.
commercial.
Yeah, I'm sold.
See, it's a no-brainer. So but it's been it's the thing I've been like dragging behind me. Every director has that thing they've been like carrying for a decade behind them that's like almost happened 5 times. So I don't want to jinx it, but it's looking more hopeful these days, and I am writing in that vein kind of totally right now. I feel like the era of trauma horror, for better or for worse, is, I feel like there's been enough of that. And I'm like, when I worked in theater, I mostly worked in comedy. I'm looking for um to explore that a little bit more without giving up some of the hallmarks that I think make my movies mine. So I'm trying to shift gears. It's a really hard space right now. I've had a strange career where, in one sense, it's been a bit cursed with I mean, I could tell you my stories of almosts. Um, they're more than you would want to hear, but at the same time, I'm like, it's been kind of cool as well because what I like about when I look back, what I like is that each of these four movies have their little camp of people who think, one or the other is the best. They almost seem equal. They almost seem like the Yellow Brick Road, We Go On, Witch in the Window, Harbinger camps are like equal sized, and they all got out there in the world. They didn't win me the lottery. They haven't got me, on a studio lot, but they're having their impact out there, which is really cool. And I don't take that lightly.
Yeah. And I hope you do kind of not that it is required, but I'm sure you would like to kind of get that big one. I recently watched Whistle, and I was saying to Gaz, I really love a good cursed item movie. So hopefully the healthy box office of Whistle will put some juice into your Voodoo Doll project. Hopefully.
Yes, 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 for sure. I hope so too. But yeah, I'm going to keep after it. I have this little B career in musical theater actually. I write music and lyrics for family musicals.
Oh, great.
So that's been kind of a focus as well, and that kind of keeps the lights on. So I'm a very strange animal in which that there are days when at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm writing a song about chickens and squirrels or something for like a kid's musical, and then I'll jump into writing the darkest thing in my head by 11. So keeps me in balance.
I was going to say it's all about the balance.
It is,
That's right.
yeah. Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Yes.
Well, okay. Yeah, it's been absolutely great talking to you, Andy. It's been great. It was great for me to rewatch your movies, and I hope for many to come.
Thank you. Thank you for what you guys are doing for the community here. This is very cool, and I really enjoyed getting to talk with you.
Oh,
Thanks for
thanks.
having me.
We really enjoyed it too. Thanks, Andy. We'll keep an eye out for forthcoming productions, and maybe you'll come back and talk about your next one with us too.
That'd be great anytime.
Oh, cool. All right, take it
Thanks,
easy.
guys.
Thanks for coming.
See ya.
Bye. All right, and that was Andy Mitton, a lovely chap. Really happy that he came on the show. That was really cool.
Yeah, I find it interesting. So, watching all of his films together, I find it really interesting that he cites that budget and economical reasons are why his films are so kind of um you know sparse, slow burn character studies. I mean, I'm sure that's the case, but I think it discounts the fact that he does Andy and his crew and his actors do really well with those constraints, because I think all of his films, specifically Witch in the Window, really benefit from not having those kind of grand studio movie add-ons. And I just don't think a film like this would work if you had a budget behind it. And that sounds weird to say, because
Mm.
it's a Schrodinger's horror movie situation. But I mean, let's just get right to it. The scene that we spoke about in the interview, the big kind of centerpiece of the film, again, spoilers, that is someone talking on a phone, and
Yeah,
then
and
a
what a
shot
scene.
of yeah, a shot of a father and son sat next to each other. There's no
Yeah,
effects, there's no music,
no,
and it's the best scene in the film.
it's just a reveal that is the objectively terrifying reveal, and
Yeah,
as we mentioned in the interview, he's already done that once. Finn wakes up and his dad's talking to him, and his dad starts to lose the plot a little bit, and then Finn fully wakes up and realizes his dad isn't even there. So Andy's already set this up once before and tricked us into watching a very similar thing again. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, I just didn't see it coming, and it's just absolutely horrifying. I mean, the whole film is pervaded by an immense sense of dread. I found like there aren't many films now as an adult that get to me in that way. I find it sometimes with found footage more than anything. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, rewatching this, I was just like on edge,
Well,
on edge the entire way through it.
it's an inevitability, isn't it? So you mentioned found footage. The key thing that found footage makes you feel like that because it's found footage. It's been found.
Sure.
It's not been found given to the people who made the film by healthy, happy people. It's been found on a site of where a bunch of people have been fucking killed by a
I
witch.
suppose so, but then at the same time, do you think? I mean, are there examples of handheld, say, characters recording proceedings themselves and it not being found footage? Then, or like, would you if it was say live, like dash cam? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it still has that. I think shaky cam or found footage, like
Yeah,
found more of a technique than a theme. It has that kind of something's bad's going to happen, and
yeah,
I think the witch in the window is that you get quite early on in the first half of the film. You talk to the neighbor, and he says about
yeah.
the witch, and then she's stuck, and you
And
get the
you see
sense,
her knocking about that in the background, so you know she's there.
yeah,
And I
you
like
get
how it. Sorry, go on.
you get the sense that either the father or the son or both are going to be sucked into something, some
Hmm.
sort of situation that's not going to kind of work out right.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of sense of foreboding, isn't there?
Yeah,
And I like how it does away with that. Typically in a film like this, I mean, it doesn't have to be the kid, but typically the kid will not be believed by the authority figure, the responsible figure, the father, the mother,
yeah,
and they take some convincing. But not in this because they actually both just see the ghost together for the first time properly, and then
yeah.
there's no room for ambiguity. They both know that this is a thing that's happening, so it doesn't
Well,
waste any time. Like, I mean, Andy said, didn't he? They only had 2 weeks to shoot, but it doesn't have to waste any time sort of establishing trust about the situation because they're both just in it and have to accept it very very quickly.
yeah, and I mean that's one of the things that I like about the film. It's the partnership between the father and son, and like it's established early on that there's some sort of um relationship divide between the mother and father. You don't quite know if it's divorce or what. And then the dad's kind of bought this house and he's going to flip it, but something's happened with the son. Um, it's kind of insinuated that he's watched something, he's seen something, he's done something, and the the relationship between Alex Draper's character and Charlie's character, it's not your typical constantly at loggerheads father and son like relationship. It's more of kind of
Yeah,
a
they get on.
partnership. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
partnership. Yeah.
Yeah, the chemistry between those two was phenomenal, which you touched on in the interview. But yeah, I remember thinking that the first time around, thinking, "Wow, they convinced me utterly that they were father and son."
Yeah. I think I don't know if we were talking about it before. We actually spoke about it during the interview, but I love that it's established early on the different levels of perception between father and son because one of them can work out a magic eye and one of them can't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't mention that in the interview, did I? But as alongside the toys, there is like a magic eye picture on the wall. I've not seen one of those in years. But yeah, I also like you, Ken. I couldn't see them for the life of me.
Used to be books, didn't it? It was a lot of books when I was a kid.
You
Like
know
you'd get
what?
them in the
Yeah, like you'd
library.
get in that like the budget bookshop, like you'd get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember them. Yeah, I'm sure my sister had a magic eye. I don't think I could ever. I mean, I didn't bother getting one because it was just a blob to me. It was nothing.
Yeah, it's just like a kaleidoscope that didn't move.
Yeah, but I did have, as I referenced earlier, there's if you look at the background on the on Finn's toy shelf among the other figures, sort of almost obscured. The face is obscured, but it's a Joker figure that came out in 1989 because I had the exact same Joker figure. I
Is
googled it
it
when I saw it. You can just see like his suit and his tie thing from the neck down, so you don't see his white face, possibly for legal reasons.
the
Um,
Burton Joker stuff?
well, it came out in 1989, and I think it's supposed to be sort of the Burton Joker because I had a Batman figure that went with it, which had was it was like an all black armor Batman, so it was a bit like the Burton Batman, but they didn't look really like. I mean, to be fair, it was 1989, so it was before the days of really good likeness figures, like like McFarlane toys did not exist at that time.
When was McFarlane Toys? You've got a few of them, haven't you?
I've got a few now. Yeah, they came bigger than the 90s. I think. I think he did it when he created Spawn. I think he maybe created Spawn, then his own toy line to do justice to Spawn, and Spawn started in the 90s at some point, like mid
Yeah,
90s, I think.
90,
I say
92, I think.
96. I don't know. Yeah, say
Well, it was,
92. I've no idea.
it was the
If
first comic
only,
book I ever bought.
if only I had the power to look up literally pretty much any information in the world on my phone.
No,
Not
just
little phone.
be like the old days. Make peace with the fact that you don't know.
No, never.
Okay.
When did
Okay.
Spawn comic come out? 1992. Well done.
Yeah, I know. I
First of
distinctly
May.
remember that time.
Oh right, I thought you were guessing. I didn't think you knew. Right.
No,
Okay. Right.
it was the first comic book I ever bought. I remember
All
the
right.
shop that I bought it
All
from. Do
right.
you
I
remember
mean, you
calling from
might
my
you might have
child?
bought it years later. I don't know. Right. Apologies.
I remember times.
All right. Apologies. Did you want to talk about anything else to do with the Witch in the Window? I feel like we got quite a lot about it with Andy. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean most of my notes are around that bloody scene, that like kind of bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
The main, um, I think my notes about Witch in the Window kind of bled into the notes about his other films, in that kind of he has this kind of steady style and this kind of economical style, which, as he said in the interview, is a result of, you know, the small scale of which he's making movies at as a filmmaker at the moment. So yeah, it's interesting, like what he's managed to do with such small means.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. 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 He's a great director, and as I said before, we were very thrilled to have him on the show. Check out The Witch in the Window if you haven't already, but you should have done if you're listening to this.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into Frailty then. Bill
Next in
Paxton,
the Work Glove
the work
Chronicles.
glove fatherhood pantheon of films,
Yeah.
paranormal films. Um, Movie Postmortem says Frailty is a really good film because everything from the overall tone to the performances, especially Paxton, give it a sense of pressure building. It keeps you captivated, but also worried about what will come next.
Yeah.
Borrowed Trouble comes back and says, I love Paxton's, doesn't say that. I loved Paxton's performance in Frailty. And Aisha says, Frailty is top tier, makes you consider everything you think you know and turns it on its head so well. I still think about it to this day. And finally, Mark A.C. Brown says, both great films, which they are.
Mm.
So Powers Booth is in this.
Yeah.
He's a
He is.
he's a very serious looking man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
Poor guy's like destined to play either a villain or a henchman or a corrupt politician.
well, I don't. He's just like such a presence, isn't he? He's like really imposing.
Yeah.
He's like I wouldn't fuck with Powers Booth. Like,
Yeah. He's in a Two Rock game, right? And every time I see him in a film, I think of the shitty PS3 Two Rock reboot. For any listeners that don't know what I'm talking about, Two Rock was a 90s era.
Dinosaur Hunter.
It was a first person shooter where you fight dinosaurs. Then you play as like a probably culturally inappropriate Native American
Oh
fighting.
God!
Notable for the weapon, the cerebral bore that shot a metal spike out that drilled into the dinosaur's brain.
Wow.
Um, but anyway, Powers Booth is in a gritty reboot from the 2000s era of video games, and I think he's like the bad guy. And every
Well,
time I
there's a
see him in a film
shocker.
now, every time I
How
see him in a
shocking!
film now, I just imagine when his character's introduced and he says like, "Oh, Turok," in that Powers Booth voice.
I haven't
But yeah,
seen that. I don't think I ever played Turok, either of them. Um,
yeah,
Powers Booth was great though. Um, so Bill Paxton.
yeah. But Bill Paxton, R.I.P. One of the greatest people to ever do anything. Basically, he's in our pantheon because he was in Aliens, and everyone involved in Aliens is in the pantheon.
Oh, I've got some good trivia about that, but I'll do that later.
Okay. So
Can I
this
just
is
say what my tagline for this film would be if they made it now?
okay. Oh yeah.
Bill Paxton is a single parent with a vision. What do you think of that? With a vision,
Yeah, it's
because he
pretty
has
good.
visions. Yeah, but it
Oh,
sounds like forget
I'm
it.
trying to think. I'm trying to think of a better one now, but I can't. You've already done it.
Anyway,
If
so
this came out now, it'd be funded by like the church, and it'd have Jim Caviezel in it, and it'd be like a light-hearted like. God, I'm glad it wasn't made nowadays.
no,
But
it would be
anyway,
awful.
so,
So Bill Paxton plays a single parent who has visions. He's visited by angels who reveal God's special purpose. There are demons, according to him, there are demons among humans right now, and they're preparing for the final battle, which is very Constantine,
it is, yeah.
which came out around, was it the same time, like 2001 ish, wasn't it? Constantine.
Yeah, around, yeah, maybe a bit later
Not
than that,
exactly
yeah.
the same time. You know what? I could just Google it. I'm going to do it again.
We're doing that a lot,
Constantine.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
why not? I should, no, 2005. So a few years later.
yeah,
I mean, Constantine came first as a character anyway, didn't he? So,
yeah.
um,
One
so
of one of two films that Paxton directed, two features. I think he directed quite a few episodes of TV, but he's directed two features, Frailty, which was his debut feature,
yeah.
and the greatest game ever played, which is a Disney film about golf that nobody has ever heard of, starring Shia LaBeouf.
Well, I hadn't heard of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, he's a funny one. Um, so he's he tries to recruit his kids into this sacred mission he believes has been bestowed upon him by God, which is that he has to go and find demons, literal demons, masquerading as humans, with a pair of gloves. He has to get them with a pair of gloves. He throws them in a cellar, and then he chops their heads off. And his one of his sons believes that this is all legit, and the other son thinks his dad's mental, and is just a
Yeah.
serial killer. And
So that's the gist.
that's the gist of it.
So it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that. Like he tries to recruit his kids. I think that so this is a really fucking great film. So it's about it's about fathers and sons. It's about the effect that a parental figure can have on their children.
Mm,
It's about religious ideology and the obsession that that can bring. But he kind of very early on in the film he gets his mission, and then the kids just have to come along
yeah,
and like as you say, one of them believes quite steadfastly, and the other one just thinks his dad's a bit mental.
yeah,
Um, but the interesting thing is Paxton's father figure, who I don't think is ever named in the film. Um, he's this kind of he's. I would go as far as to say he's arguably a neutral presence who he never does anything out of anger or kind of malice. He's utterly convinced. And
yeah.
I guess to shift what I'm saying around, what my only criticism of this film is that it brings the fantastical elements into it too early. So like when he first gets the vision
Yeah.
and decides that he's going to start axe murdering people, it's like a reflection of light on a trophy. And you think, well, he's obviously one of the angles is that he's imagining it and he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously later on he gets the very kind of he's under the car and the angel Gabriel comes down literally comes down and hands
Yeah.
him a flaming sword. And I think if they would have just dialed that back a little, I think until the end of the film, which we'll talk about, it's not fully, you're not fully aware that Bill Paxton isn't imagining everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I see what you're saying with that. I think it doesn't necessarily draw you out of it, though. I think you could still very easily be imagining that angel coming down,
yeah,
but it is quite over the top. But I mean, I didn't. I mean, at that point in the film, I guess you still don't know whether this is legit or not. But it didn't strike me as I didn't watch that and go, right, well, he's definitely telling the truth.
yeah, it's very ambiguous. It's
Yeah,
very the film itself is very morally ambiguous, which is
it is.
it's obviously on purpose. A lot of what goes on in the Bible is morally ambiguous, and this is quite literally an Abraham and Isaac adjacent tale. I think that's directly referenced in the scripts as well towards the end. Um, but it's about this father kind of testing the bond that he has with his kids. Um, I guess in Witch in the Window, that bond is explored and then manipulated by the witch.
Yeah,
But Frailty is more, directly about like us parents. They do fuck up their children. I say
yeah.
us parents. I'm only a parent of
Oh, it's
felines,
all right. I
but
fuck up my kid all the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's wrecked now because of me.
Yeah, well, it's probably wrecked because he plays Fortnite, but you can blame
That's
yourself
probably
if you want.
yeah. I will.
Yeah, but it's the writer Brent Hanley was inspired by Night of the Hunter,
Oh
an American serial killer Joseph Callinger murdered three people and tortured four families and brought along his 12-year-old son. So
wow.
the Night of the Hunter,
I don't think I
um,
fucked up my kid that badly.
no, not yet. There is
Not
always
yet. I
time.
mean, there's always time for murder. The day isn't over yet, is it?
Yeah, the Night of the Hunter, the very classic Robert Mitchum horror film, Night of
Yeah,
the Hunter, is an interesting inspiration because that has a fairy tale feel like throughout,
yeah,
and I think Frailty deliberately kind of skirts the line between fantasy and reality right up until the end, and then it tips over into the former. Um, but we'll talk a bit about the twist a bit later on. It's
hmm
interesting going back to Paxton directing it. He wanted to direct it because he really liked the script and he didn't want anyone to. He didn't want another director kind of changing what his interpretation was or like kind of interpreting the material differently than he did. So he just decided to direct it,
He just
which
wanted to make what he read.
yeah, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of the script, can I throw in one of my very few pieces of very good trivia?
Go ahead.
So I mentioned earlier about we were talking about aliens very
Yeah,
briefly. In the script, there's a bit where the kids are referencing going to the cinema,
yeah,
and one of them wants to see Meatballs because it's 1979, and one of them wants to. So they've already seen Meatballs. One of them wants to say wants to go and see the Warriors, right?
yeah.
It's just as I say, set in 1979. The script called for them wanting to not go and see the Warriors, but Alien. And Bill Paxton changed that because he didn't want the film to be too self-referential, having been in
Ah,
Aliens.
yeah, that's good.
That's great trivia, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that is good. Oh, Paxton. I
Oh,
have a, I have
Bill,
I have a I have a nice bit of trivia.
go on.
Actually, when I can find it in my notes. Oh yeah, the name on the axe.
Oh, I've got
So
this one.
yeah,
I'll
so
let you
let,
tell it.
so let's go through a bit. One of the interesting things about the film and one of the things that contribute to it, alluding to the fact that it might be all in his head, is
Mm.
that his righteous tools of destroying demons are just innocuous kind of his work gloves, a lead pipe, and an axe.
Can I point out
Those
as well? I noticed that he's literally a blue collar worker. Like he has a shirt with a blue work shirt,
yeah,
which
he's
is
an
kind of his
everyman.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like, but that's like almost his uniform for this work that he does. You know, like in um this what's it called now? Unbreakable.
yeah.
He's got like his uniform. He's got his superhero
His
suit, which is
yeah,
like
it's his
that.
job uniform. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
and it's got
becomes
that
yeah.
cover, that rain cover thing. Is sort of his cape, you know. Um, yeah, I felt like Bill Paxton's dad character in this, like his superhero vocational uniform was this blue collar suit along with the gloves.
Well, it's interesting, like his blue collar attire and like the instruments of righteousness. Like he's a cipher. He's an everyman. He's almost a blank slate. He's your typical American father, um, and the performance makes him more kind of normal, terrifyingly normal. So when he's asking his kids to witness this kind of murder, it really kind of tests your patience as a viewer. I mean, it did when I first watched it. Um, but yeah, so his axe, it has the name Otis engraved into it.
It does.
And for many years, I thought, oh, what is the significance of that? Is it like some sort of biblical thing? Otis doesn't sound like a biblical name. It could very well be.
It's a
Um,
reference to Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
yes, yeah. Oh
It's
God.
not.
Um, have we done that? We should do that.
I don't know if I want to watch that again.
It's a comedy. It's meant to be a comedy.
Oh yeah, sure.
It is.
No,
John
it
McNaughton
fucking
meant it.
is.
John McNaughton meant it to be a comedy. Trust me. Let's do an
Well, you
episode on it. I'll give you
failed.
some facts.
No, I don't want to watch
Um,
it. Anyway,
okay.
Otis.
It is. While he was scouting for locations in Pasadena, Bill Paxton found a very nice unhoused man and paid him for the right to use his name in the film.
Yes, because the guy apparently didn't want. He offered him money, I believe, and he didn't want charity.
Yeah.
So he bought the rights to use his name in the film instead, and that's how the axe became engraved with the name Otis because his name was Otis.
Yeah.
That's a nice story.
Bill Paxton is nice. I love
Well,
him and
yeah,
miss him.
indeed, I do too.
Lionsgate
Um,
wanted the title to be God's Hand,
God's
which is
hand.
which is a bit silly. Which is the sort of thing that a studio executive would ask. I
I
think
mean, it's just a
Frailty,
bit too obvious, isn't it? You might
yeah,
well put that together what it was about.
yeah, Frailty's a much more thematically packed title, I think. Like it's more like kind of biblically leaning and about, the frailty of, the father character. I don't
Yeah,
know, I prefer that title.
yeah, no, I do too. You're right.
I had so should we move on to the twist? Because I've got some stuff on that.
Sure, I've got one more trivia.
Yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
share it now. Yeah, all right. So you say you point out he's kind of an everyman, and to the point that he drinks beer at the dinner table. He has a can of beer at
As you
meal
would.
times. Yep. So because it was set in 1979, apparently in production they could only find one Hamm's beer can from 1979. So they had to use the same beer can in every different scene when he was drinking that beer. It was the same can every time because they only had one of them.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the twist.
Just thinking about beer now. Yeah, so the twist is it's all real, basically.
Yeah.
Is the dad did actually get a message from God to kill actual demons with his pipe and his work gloves and his axe called Otis,
Yeah.
and the son um, Adam, who's the son who so this right okay. Like, I'll try.
I must admit, when I rewatched it the other day, I got a little bit confused at the end, trying to figure out which brother was which,
So
and
it's
who did
Adam.
everything.
Matthew McConaughey plays Adam, who's narrating the whole film to Powers Boo's FBI cop guy
Yeah.
from the point of view of his brother Fenton.
Yes, that was
And
it.
and in the flashbacks, Fenton is the one that doesn't believe, and Adam is no. It's
See?
switched. He's narrating. Matthew McConaughey is narrating from the point of view of his brother Fenton. Fenton is the one that um, does believe, and Matthew McConaughey is purporting to be the one that didn't believe, but it's the other way around. Adam is the one that believed, and basically Fenton was driven mad by his dad making him axe murder people, even though he couldn't see. So there's the concept that when the dad touches the people, he can see all their sins,
Yes.
and Adam, the kid who always believes, does too, but Fenton doesn't. So this drives him kind of mad. Well, also getting kind of locked up in a hot box by his dad, starved, also drives him mad. And he turns into an actual serial killer. And the whole film is based around uh, McConaughey's character, Adam, comes in to say that he knows who the God's Hand Killer is, and he'll take him to him, and it's his brother, but their roles are just reversed.
Yeah, that was
So
it. Yeah,
it
I did
feels
sort of get my head around it, but it took me a minute.
Yeah, it feels, and when I first watched the film, it felt like there was a lot of twisty stuff happening in that kind of era of cinema. Thanks in no small part to like Shyamalan and Sixth Sense and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it felt like a bit of like a on the nose kind of twist. But for me, watching it again recently, maybe I'm becoming a hopeless romantic in my old age, but it resonates because rather than just be kind of a device that sets up a twist, the kind of Adam narrating to the cop pretending to be his brother Fenton, it kind of says to me that Adam has empathy for his brother and understood his doubts. So when he's telling the story, it's coming from a place of empathy, not a
mm,
place of kind of lies to manipulate the cop into following him so he can kill him in the rose garden.
right.
So it's actually quite sweet, like, which kind of brings me to my next point is by the end of this film, when we find out that it's all true, why is it still all like sinister? Are we meant to fear the God's Hand Killer? Is it like
Oh,
a bad
that's true.
thing that he's
Yeah,
killing
he's kind of
demons?
played in kind of in a yeah sinister manner, like a beware this kind of guy. But it's
Yeah,
like no,
like the
he's only killing demons. Then
the music, the music at the end, it's like,
yeah,
and then
you're
the
right.
ominous music, and then his missus turns up and she's pregnant, giving the impression that the God's Hand Killer will, or God's killer will pass on to his son. And it's still all like sinister music, and it's like, well, he's killing
Yeah, you're
demons.
right.
Like, that's
Yeah,
a
so
good
what
thing.
should be happy go lucky music, surely.
Should be like guitars and I don't know,
Everything's fine.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, you're right as well. There were a slew of films around this exact time where there was a twist, like a bit of twist seemed to be the big thing. Because I was thinking in the Pantheon, you've got Identity, which is 2000-ish, 2001. That I really like that the John Cusack one,
Yeah, yeah,
which has a twist, but it's a good film. And I mentioned Unbreakable before, which has a twist.
yeah.
And also Bruce Willis's character, he discovers whether people are evil or not by touching them.
He does. He sees all their stuff. Sees
Yeah.
all the things they've done.
So another link. We should
Yeah,
have maybe added a third film to this and talked about Unbreakable as well.
yeah. I love Unbreakable. Hands down, his best film. Shyamalan's best film, not Bruce Willis's best film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Unbreakable. Um, we'll leave it there if you want. You got anything else?
Yeah, a little
I
extra,
beg your pardon then.
a little, a little extra real life stuff, in his review of the film. Roger Ebert compared Bill Paxton's character to real life. It's the real life story of Andrea Yates, a Texas mother who drowned her five children in a bathtub because she believed doing so would save them from Satan. Yates was suffering from severe postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and schizophrenia. She was originally convicted of murder, but a retrial found her guilty by reason of insanity. She was subsequently committed to a high security psychiatric facility. So,
Jesus. I think
yeah.
if you were to Google it, there'd probably be quite a few instances of
I was thinking that, yeah.
misguided parents doing terrible things to their children because they think it's what some sort of God wants. I think
Which,
it's a lot more common than you people probably figure.
yeah, if I was being overly critical, I think the resolution of this film that it's all kind of real pisses on the core message of the film a bit because it's not about whether it's real or not. It's about this kind of like father figure who is devoutly believes that he's doing something righteous and bringing his family into it and kind of passing that obsession down. That's the point of the film. But then it turns out God and the devil are real, and Matthew McConaughey's part of a line of demon hunters. and it turns into an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Fair enough. No fair criticism, but it's still a great film.
I mean, that's if I'm being critical. I actually really love it, and I actually kind of enjoy the twist. But
yeah, fair enough. That was Frailty then. I think all that remains for us to say here is thank you once more for tuning in to Live from Manchester Morgue. As I said at the beginning, if you wouldn't mind sharing us about a bit, telling your friends about us, and tune in for later this month. We've got another special guest, if you can believe it. Toby Poser and John Adams are going to be on the show to talk about, well, they said we can talk about whatever we want, didn't they? So we're definitely going to talk about Hellbender.
yeah, I think Hellbender's the film that we're going to do an episode on, and then they've got Mother of Flies, which is their latest film. But
I'm going to watch ahead of that, and then we can talk about Where the Devil Roams, and because all their films are great. So we're going to have a good time with that. Might be a bit of a longer episode. Yeah. How many questions do you think you'll have for them, Ken?
Well, I've been kind of systematically, a bit like our interview with Andy. I've been watching all of their films, and I've got 1 or 2 questions per film. So
okay, all right, I'll try and come up with something. All right, until next time, we'll be back in just 2 short weeks with another episode. Take care. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
See ya.
Live from Manchester Morgue is an independent horror movie podcast, researched, written, produced and hosted by Gary Hames and Ken Talbot. New episodes air every 2 weeks on Spotify, Apple, YouTube and all major podcast providers. You can help us grow by leaving a rating or sharing the show with like-minded friends. If you want to get in touch, you can leave us a comment or email us at killertunes976@gmail.com.